A very good afternoon to you all. Today I am here for giving my EduSec lecture on network security. So first of all, we start with the computer networks. What is the computer network? A computer network, or simply a network, is a collection of computer and other hardware interconnected by communication channels that allow sharing of resources and information, where at least one process in one device is able to send or receive data to or from at least one process residing in the remote device. Then the two devices are said to be in the network. Here you can see when all computers are interconnected to each other to share the resources of one and another, we said computers are in the network, or simply a network. In this network, they can share the data, they can share the printers, they can share the memory, etc., so that the work can be do easily. Now with the network, the one major issue arises. What is the network security? Means how we can securely share our information to the other person so that the work can be done securely. So security is the one of the major issue to be discussed. The first of all, to make the network secure, the first issue is confidentiality. Confidentiality means only sender, intended receiver should understand the message content. Means those person, the one is sender and the other receiver, who are communicating with each other, can understand only the message. Because if the intruder or the other person understanding the message, they can change the message, they can halt the message, they can tamper the message. So the confidentiality is very important, that the message should be in the two private parties only who is actually communicating with each other. So for doing this, for maintaining the confidentiality, we have the one thing, that is encryption. Sender encrypt the message and receiver decrypt the message. Encrypting is a technique of secret writing the code, means converting the code into a secret writing so that this message cannot be understood by the third party. This can only be understood by two parties, the one is receiver and the other is sender, who is actually need of the communication of the message. The other issue is authentication. Authentication means sender and receiver want to confirm identity of each other. Means sender want to confirm that to whom he is sending the message is the authenticated person, is he all authorized to read their message or to do the updations in their message or other different tasks. Authentication is very necessary, because if the person is not authorized to read the message or write the message or do any updations, deletions in the message, then those intruders or unauthorized person can do harm to your system, can harm to your work and harm to you as well. The third issue is message integrity. Means what are the two persons communicating with each other, the message, the content, the thing you are passing to the sender or receiver is valid with the time, is not altered, is not tampered. Means the sender and receiver want to ensure message is not altered without any detection. Last but not least is access and availability. Service must be accessible and available to the user. Means to what service he is accessing or what is that should be available to the user at that time. So these are the four issues: confidentiality, that means privacy; authentication, that means the person should be confirmed; message integrity, message should be valid and fair; and the last is access and availability. Here I give you one example. in this world, suppose there are two persons, the one is Neil and the other is Nikki. They want to communicate with each other, even they are communicating using some data control messages. Then what can happen? Any intruder between the Neil and Nikki in the network can do harm to them. How he can do harm? By tampering their message, by deleting their message, by changing their message. So it should be that only two well-known parties can communicate so that the network can be secure. If any intruder intercept between them, they can change the message, he can change the message, he can delete the message, or even he can become Neil and communicate and will start communicate with the Nikki. So this is the one of the example. But who is the real time Neil and Nikki? The real time Neil and Nikki means who are the two parties who are actually communicating in our real life problems or in the real life network. It can be the web browsers, a server or a client. It can be any online transaction between the bank and the customer. It can be any online purchase. It can be a communication of the two DNS servers, or it can be any routers exchanging routing table updations, and many more examples are here who are communicating with each other. Actually they want the communication without the intervention of any third party, or they want any secure communication so that the work exactly what they want to do can be done. So we are saying the bad guys or a hackers, intruders, what they can do? They can do a lot. Means what? The first is they can eavesdrop. Eavesdrop means secretly listening their message and communicating to the next. Means intercept message, actively insert message into connection. He is secretly listening the message and passing to the other party, and by appending their own information which can harm to your computer, which can change the reality of your work. Then is impersonation, means can fake or spoof source address in a packet on a field of packet. Means he can create a multiple packets or a fake packets and sending to the receiver, which can change the meaning of your message. The next is hijacking, means take over. He can take over the access over your computer. Means what you cannot do, what he cannot do. Matlab, he is take over your resources, that thing which cannot done by you, but the updations, changes, insertion, deletion can be done by the intruders, hacker. Means he can hijack your computer, can operate your computer by sitting at his place. Next is denial of service. Denial of service means preventing service from being used by others. Means by overloading the resources, he can make the things or make you halting you from giving the service to the other. We will discuss these all four one by one. The first is packet sniffing. Packet sniffing means in between the communication. Here you can see in the example, A and B want to communicate with each other, but what happened? C, which is the intruder or any non-authorized person, is splitting between the A and B and changing the meanings of the message. So packet sniffing is in the broadcast media. Any promiscuous NIC read all the packet passing by. He is reading all the message which are passed from A to B and all the unencrypted data, and can sniff B's packet and can change B's packet which are sending the message to the A. So the meaning of the message which A want to convey to B or B want to convey to A is changing by the party C, which is the intruder. So, what are the countermeasures? But how we can stop this to prevent the to make our network secure? So, first we can do, all hosts in the organization run software that checks periodically if host interface is in promiscuous mode. Means one host per segment of the broadcast media, means only at a one internet, one ethernet, one person is only, there should be a, the number of persons that can communicate on the network should be limited, or only those who are actually authentically doing the networking between the parties. The next is IP spoofing. This IP spoofing means generating raw IP packets directly from application, putting any value into IP source and address field. Receiver cannot tell if source is spoofed. Means now A and B are the two authenticate user who is actually want to communicate, but C create the spoofing a raw IP in between the network, which halted the communication between the A and the B, but start communicating A, but C halting their communication, and he itself start communicating with A, and now B does not know that A is now communicating with C on the behalf of B. So, C pretend to be B. This is known as IP spoofing. So, these are the countermeasures what we can do, adopt, so that this IP spoofing can be stopped. So, first point is, router should not forward outgoing packet with invalid source addresses. Means broadcasting. Broadcasting means the one message which is conveyed to many. This is known as broadcasting. By stopping the broadcasting, or only sending the forwarding packet to the valid source address, this can somewhere stop this IP spoofing. And the ingress filtering is what? Hiding your actual identity. Means what you are you are not showing to the world. This is known as ingress filtering. By applying the ingress filtering, so that the unauthorized person or non intruders cannot see you that you are communicating. If they have no idea that you are communicating, then they cannot interrupt your communication. The next is denial of service. Denial of service means sending the flood of messages, overloading the messages to the so that the B cannot know. Some messages are passing to B, but some messages are only taken by the C and give response the C to the B. Here I want to mention that C is an intruder. A and B are actually communicating. C is an intruder, and when the flood of messages coming from A to B, what the C done? Some messages sent to B, but some messages which are authenticated for B is taken up by the C. So C and the remote source encryption is attacked the A. So these are the countermeasures how the denial of service can be stopped. Some is filter out. Means filter out. What filter out? The flooded messages. Means packet should be come in some sequence, so that all the messages can reach B. The flood of the message can be stopped. Means synchronization. If one message is sent by A to B, the B should know the one message is coming to me. Whatever the number of counts are coming from A to B, the B should know that how many messages I have to receive and I have to send. If that number is not matched, suppose A tell I want to tell you 10 messages, and but B is getting only 8, then B can know B have the knowledge that two messages are somewhere in the network are interrupted or taken by any unauthorized person. The next is traceback, means we can track the whole messages. Trackback is to source of floods, most likely an innocent compromised machine who is taking care or tracking all the communication channel or packet which are coming from A to B. Next is cyber crime. What is the cyber crime? As we all know, today cyber crime is growing day by day. But what is this? What is this cyber crime? The cyber crime refers to any crime that involves a computer and a network. Means those crime who are happening on the computer, on a internet, is said to be a cyber crime. Computer may have been used in the commission of a crime, or it may be the target. Means we are using the computer for doing the crime, or we are doing so that we can hack the we can target so that we can destroy the computer. Net crime refers to the criminal exploitation of the internet. Cybercrime is offences that are committed against individuals or group of individuals with the criminal motive to intentionally harm the reputation of the victim or cause physical or mental harm to the victim directly or indirectly using modern telecommunication networks such as internet, chat rooms, emails, notice board and groups and mobile phones. Suppose we are sending any message on behalf of other. This is a crime. Suppose we are not giving the proper information to the next source. This is also a crime. So here are some list of cyber crimes that we are doing against government, against persons and against properties. The first is cyber terrorism, cyber pornography, defamation, cyber staking, sale of illegal articles, weapons, wildlife on the internet is also a cyber crime. Online gambling, intellectual property crimes. Suppose we are using somewhat software, somewhere documents who are registered on some other name with our name is a software copyright crime. That is software privacy, copyright infringement, trademark violation, theft of computer source code is also a cyber crime. Email spoofing, forgery, phishing and the credit card frauds. So we here generally categorize the cyber crime into these categories. The one is hacking, information theft. Hacking is takeover. Information theft means secretly picking up the information of other computer to our for the purpose of crime. Email bombing, slammy attacks, denial of services attack and the Trojan attacks. Trojan attacks means giving viruses and harm to the some other computer. Now what is the need of the cyber laws? Because crimes are growing day by day. Persons who are not willing to do the good things but they are willing to harm the other persons, pick up the thefting of the source code and etc. So that they can breaking the passwords, logins of the online banking, theft or online theft on the online purchasing. So these are growing day by day. So to stop these, to make the things smooth on the, so that the online purchase, chat, everything should be libelized, the crime laws are required. To save the intellectual property rights and the copyright protection acts, we need the cyber laws. For keeping in mind these in the cyber crime, the IT Act is made so that this IT Act have some provisions. Nowadays, email would now be a valid and a legal form of communication in our country. so that it can be duly produced and approved in the court of law. As before we have the postal letters, but now email become the legal and the valid form of communication in our country that can be duly produced and approved in the court of law. Now the company shall now be able to carry out electronic commerce using the legal infrastructure provided by the act. Digital signature have been also a legal validity and the sanction in the act. Digital signature is nothing but the summary of the message, but the actually the summary of the message which is encrypted using any private key and appended with the message and transmitted over the network. If in somewhere in the network that message is tampered, then the summary become changed and the receiver will know that the message in between the network is tampered because digital signature is changed. So digital signature is a very good thing, so which can help to know whether the our message is tampered message or actual message which is sent by the sender. The next, this act also allow government to issue notifications on the web, thus heralding e-governance. E-governance means now our government can give their notifications on the internet to the public. This is also become the legal way. Statutory remedy: in case if anyone break into company's computer system or network can cause damage or copies data. This act also give you the provision if anyone break your computers, break your network, damage your data in the network. So this act also have a provision to punish those such people. Now the internet and its effect. Internet as widely used by everyone, so 20 to 30% of internet pornography consumption, it is noticed that the internet pornography consumption in the age of children age of 12 to 17 is very high, which is a very serious issue which should be stopped. MySpace said that it is being used by predator to meet and entice the kids online. Now the specific marketing strategies are being used to attract children to porn sites. So this is the adverse effect of the internet, or you can say that it is a cyber crime which is happening in our society very growing rate. So these are the offences and the laws in the cyber crime. Tampering with computer documents: if anyone tampering your document, this is a cyber crime. If anyone hacking your computer system, this is also a cyber crime. If someone publishing some data on the applicant data which is not valid or which should not be, this is also a crime. Breaching of confidentiality and privacy: if someone hacking your data and publishing with your name, with her own name, then it is also a cyber crime. In order to keep pace with changing generation, the Indian Parliament passed Information Technology, which we say IT Act 2000. This IT Act has been conceptualized on the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law Model Law. This act aims at providing legal recognition for the transaction carried out by the means of electronic data interchange and other means of electronic communication. This commonly referred as electronic commerce. This electronic commerce, that if someone changing their document with you as an email or on internet, this is the legal. Your email is legal, and which involve the use of alternatives to paper based methods of the communication and storage of information, and aims of facilitating electronic filling of document with the government agencies. Now email become the government a legal recognition of the transaction, means any transaction which you are doing on the internet is legal. This Information Technology Act in a capsule means in a short term it is called Information Technology Act 2000. It come into force in June 2000. This extend to whole of India and also to the people who contravenes the provisions of the act outside India. Means if your this act is also for those who are outside the India and connected to the Indian network. They shall came into force as per notification by the central government. This act applies to the whole of India. It also applies to any offences committed outside India by any person. It, this act is not applying to following. To what? A negotiable instrument as defined in section 13 of the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881, and also it is not applicable for a power of attorney as defined in section 1A of the Power of Attorney Act 1882. It is a trust as defined in section 3 of the Indian Trust Act 1882. It is also not applicable for a will as defined by the section 2H, and it is a contract. It is not a contract for a sale or a conveyance of immovable property or any interest in such property. Any such class of document or transaction as may be notified by the central government in the official gazette. Now in this act, what the digital signature means? It is the legitimacy and use. This act has adopted the public key infrastructure, we said PKI, for securing electronic transactions. A digital signature means an authentication of any electronic record by the subscriber by means of an electronic method or procedure in accordance with other provisions of the act. Means first of all I would like to explain the digital signatures here. Digital signatures are the nothing but the summary of the message which is encrypted by the private key of a sender and attached to the message. If at the receiver side it found tampered, means it can be know that message in between the network is tampered or not. So this act taken or adopted this digital signature as public key infrastructure so that this digital signature can justify that your message is tampered or not. So this is the legal, this become legal. Thus a subscriber can authenticate an electronic record by affixing his digital signature. Means electronic data, your email, your any electronic data can be authenticated by digital signature by adding the digital signature. A private key is used to create a digital signature, whereas a public key is used to verify the digital signature and electronic record. As I told before, this digital signature is encrypted by the private key at the sender side and decrypted by the receiver with their public key. Key is nothing but a algorithm or some device through which you can convert the code into the secret language. They both are unique, means digital your primary key, your private key and your public key. They both are unique and for the subscriber and together form for functioning a key pair. Next, further, this act also provide that when any information or other matter need to be authenticated by the signature of the person, the same can be authenticated by the means of a digital signature affixed in a manner prescribed by the central government. What it means? The central government state that if any document, hard document is authenticated by the signatures, then the soft document can be authenticated by the digital signatures. This act also gives the central government powers, means to make rules prescribing the digital signatures, means it gives some rule how we we can make the digital signatures. It also provides the manner in which it shall be affixed, means how to create the digital signature, how to affix the digital signature to the soft document, the procedure to identify the person affixing the signature, means what the person, who the person can affix the signatures, the maintenance of integrity, security and the